everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. Today we're going to do our 6th set of alternatives for the December 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Watercolor in Bloom. And here are the 9 cards that you could have made had you done the kit as it was intended. But as you know, we always change things up around here, so let's get started with our first alternative for today. So while I'm getting this ready, if I could ask, if you haven't, liked and subscribed to my channel yet, please do that. I would really appreciate that and love it if you would join us. So today we're going to start with this one. Now, last weekend when I was designing cards, I was like stumped. Like I didn't know, I had this paper, I had the cardstock, but I had no idea how I wanted to design it. And I was kind of just, looking around my desk and I thought, oh, I've got all these templates that we've been doing on Template Tuesday. And I thought, well, why not use one of those? So I picked this one, and this is from way back when we started. So this was template number 4. So this is a pretty easy fun fold here. So we're going to use this to make our card for today. And if you're new, I do a Tuesday template Tuesday series every Tuesday. So I will link the playlist at the end of this video if you're interested in taking a look at the other templates that are out there. So I'm going to open this up so we can use our recipe, basically, that's in here. So I have just a pile of cutouts here that we may or may not use. So I'm going to put those to the side, because I think I've decided we're going to do some stamping. So I have a card base that's 8.5 by 5.5. This is garden green, and I have scored this at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8. So basically, you score a normal card, you would score it at 4 1/4. So this is kind of like our normal card base, and then you just score it at 2 1/8, so you can fold this back on itself. I'm gonna get my bone folder out here and give this a good burnish so it lays hopefully nice. So we'll burnish both of these. Okay, so there's our card base. And then we need a piece of cardstock for the front mat. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is the mat. So I have a piece of green, garden green, that is 2 7/8 by 3 7/8. So we're going to use that. And then I have any color cardstock for the front. So that's going to be our little white piece here. So this is 2 5/8 by 3 5/8, and that's going to layer up on our garden green piece. And then the pattern paper that we need, so this is a piece for the inside, it's 4 by 5 1/4. The pattern paper for this, what I'm using, is one of the card bases that came in this kit that I have cut down. So I've got 2 pieces here that are 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And those are going to go here and here. So we can go ahead and glue those down right quick, and then we will do our stamping. So I don't know, does anybody else get stuck for ideas on how you want to make a card? You've got paper, you've got your cardstock, and you're just sitting there going, I have no idea what to do with it. And that's how I was. But it was really nice having a pile full of templates that I could go through and figure out what would look nice with the pattern paper that I was trying to use. So the templates are nice to have because they really help with, block, when you've just got crafting block and you just can't get motivated again. So it's really nice to have something to kind of fall back on. Alright, so we'll get this put in here. I'm just going to center that up on that little piece. Okay, so there's our flap and our fun fold. Now, let's go ahead and do some stamping. So we are going to make this into a retirement card, because I thought this pattern was, neutral enough and pretty that we could just do some retirement card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp in basically Secret Sea and Garden Green. So I'm going to move this up out of the way here so I can get my ink open. So here's our Garden Green, and this is our Secret Sea. Okay, For the inside, so on the outside, I'm going to do, let's see, where is it? I'm going to do a stamp that says, and this came from an old stamp set from last year called Gone Fishing. And I'm going to do this Happy Retirement on the front, and this Good Things Come to Those Who Wait on the inside. So don't be, afraid to go back and look in your stash and see what you got, because you bought this stuff for a reason. You might as well use it. Okay, so I need a block here. So let me get us a block. I have stamps lined up everywhere. So we're going to do, we're going to do our Good Things Come to Those Who Wait on the inside. I've never used this stamp yet, so I'm just going to season this up on my hand here. Just kind of get any of that film that's left over from the manufacturing process off of it so that we are sure to get a good clean stamp. Now, I'm going to, just to be on the safe side, get a scratch piece of paper here, and we will do a practice run just to see if we're getting a good image. Yep, that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's good. So we don't have to worry about not getting a good image. Now what we have to worry about is getting it straight. Because as you all know, I tend to be very crooked. Okay, oops, and now I've got ink everywhere. Uh-oh, hang on. Let me wipe my hand off and we'll turn this over and use the back side. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get this down right here. Hopefully that's straight. Perfect. Okay. I always seem to get the darker colored ink all over myself. I do not know why, but I do. All right, so we're going to put this to the side. We'll put that away in there in a second. On the front here, we're going to use some of the stamps that were in the Paper Pumpkin kit that were the foliage pieces. So this little flower stem and this one for sure, and maybe that one, but I'm not quite sure yet. So we're just going to put our Happy Retirement on here first so that we know what we've got to work with for foliage. So let me get this lined up and we'll get this on a block. Again, I've never used this one before either, so I'm going to just rub it around here to make sure, and we'll again test it out on a scratch piece of paper just to make sure that we're getting a good image, and we are. So let's go ahead and get this on our little piece here. I'm going to put it more towards the top because I want room at the bottom to build our little foliage scene. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stem piece here. I'm going to do it in garden green. So let's ink that up. And I'm just going to kind of angle it down here in the bottom right corner. Just like that. Okay. Then I want to take, let's see. I have the other two little stamps here. I think I'm going to do the flower looking one next. So I'm going to ink that. Oops. I'm going to put that on a block here. And we're going to ink it up on Secret C. And we'll see if we can just get a couple of flower bits down here. So one right here. Okay, I didn't quite get the top of it down. Let me see if I can fix that without messing the whole thing up. Okay, there you go. That looks pretty good. Now, whoops, wrong color. I do that all the time. It's what happens when you've got two ink pads open. So let me just clean that right quick because I don't want green. I want my Secret C. And I don't want to get the green ink in the Secret C ink. Because we're not trying to make, peanut butter and chocolate Reese cups, right? Okay. Now, we're going to take this and we're going to put it on this other side. And I have to be aware now that the top of this stamp takes a little bit of extra pressure to get that top piece, the very top leaf. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, I've got a little flower that I cut from the add-on die set, and I cut this in Secret C, and I was thinking just to putting that right down there. So I think that might be enough. I think we might just leave that because I don't want to overdo it. So let me close the ink up, and we will go ahead and get this together. So let's see. Let's put this on our mat first. Okay, let's get that down here. Pick it up so I can wiggle it around. Oh, sometimes it's funny that this glue just sticks almost immediately, and other times not at all. Oh, and I can't get this straight. Come on, work with me here. All right, let's try this again. There we go. Okay. So there's that piece. Now, this is going to go on the front. We're going to get our little flower down here on the edge. So just a little bit of glue, and I'll just put that right down there in the middle of our little flower piece there. Okay, let's get the rest of this together. We're going to put this on the inside here. So let's ink this, or glue, put some glue on this. This bottle of glue is almost empty. I'm determined I'm going to use it all though. Okay, so we'll line this up in here just like that. Okay, now we're going to put this on here, but we have to make sure when we put it on here that it covers our inside greeting. So it looks like we can go just about right there, which is pretty centered. I think we did a pretty good job. Okay, so I'm thinking right about there for our left to right. So I'm just going to kind of mark my finger here so I know I can't put glue past here because we don't want to glue our card shut, because that would be awful. Alright, so now I'm just going to try to line this back up so it's just covering my inside sentiment. And we'll put that down just like that. Make sure that sticks. Okay, now I've got some sequins here that I want to try to use up because I've had these for a long time, and I was thinking we could just put one of these. These bronze sequins are the same thing that came in the kit, and I have those somewhere, but for the life of me this morning I couldn't find them, so I dug out my other ones and thought we can just use these. Maybe. Come on. It doesn't want to play. Alright, so we're just going to put that right down there in the middle of our flower. And there we have a good retirement card. So, very pretty. I do see that I got a little bit of ink in the bottom corner there off of my thumb. So, I'm going to get my sand eraser here and just kind of take my eraser and get rid of that little boo-boo there. And that's pretty easy to do with this eraser. So just, it'll kind of take the top layer of your paper off so it gets rid of the ink but is not noticeable once you're done. So that's a good thing. Alright, I think we've just about got it. Perfect. Okay. So let's put this to the side and we'll do our second card. It's pretty easy and quick. So we're going to start with a card base here that's basic white. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. If I can get it open, there we go. So let's give it a good burnish. Got another piece of basic white, 5 by 4 1/4. That's going to be our first matte layer here. I'm going to put the green ink away. We're going to use the Secret C. And we're going to take these two pieces that I cut from one of the card bases. These are 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. So they're a little too long for our... Oh, you know why? This goes on the inside. All right, I remember now. Hang on. So that's the inside piece. These are just going to go out here. So that's why I kept them at 5 1/2. Because I needed it to go the whole length of the card. The height of the card. So these are going to go here in the middle. And then we've got oval punch out that was in the kit. We're going to put in the middle. We're going to stamp on this. We've got a couple of flowers that I cut. Not from this month's or this quarter's add-on dies, but the last quarter's add-on dies. I really liked these. I thought these would be cute on here. And we've got one flower that came in the kit that's white. And then I've got a couple of these little tiny prongy looking things that I cut out of cloud cover. And we are going to use those on this card because they were sitting on my desk and I would like to get rid of them. So let's get these two things down first. Now that we've gone through the game plan. So this is going to go roughly here. I'm just going to kind of lay it there. I'm not going to press it down until I get the other one on so I can get the spacing right. Because I want to, do the best I can to even the spacing. I don't know, we might have to get out our new glue. Okay. And I want to keep the darker colors at the bottom. To me, they just feel like they're heavier, and so they need to be near the bottom. So I'm going to scoot this one just a little bit to the left. Because I'd like to have the same amount of space here and here. And then I think the middle space will take care of itself. So, let's see. Let's, again, slide this one just a little bit left. I still think it needs to, just a little. Okay, about right there looks good. All right, so we'll push these down, give those a good burnish so they stay. All right, this we're going to stamp on, so we're not going to do that quite yet. And here we're going to stamp on this. So let's do our stamping next. We're going to stamp in Secret C. And for the outside, I'm going to do what was in the kit, the thank you so much. So ink this up. And we will just get this. Let's see. How do we want to do this? It'll fit this way. Do we want to go this way? Or do we want to go this way? Let's see. If we put our little flower pieces down in one of the corners. Okay, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep it horizontal. And we're going to stamp to the right-hand side of this so that we have room on the other side for our little flower cluster. So let's get this down here. Give that a good push. Okay, so thank you so much. It's going to go there. And then on the inside, we're doing the other stamp that came in the set, the little things you do for me mean so much. So let me get a block here so that we can get this on a block. I'll line it up on the glass mat, so I hope to start with it straight. Okay, we'll ink this up. And And line this up on the mat so it's straight, hopefully. And we'll get this down right there. Give it a good push. Okay, the little things you do for me mean so much. All right, put our ink away. Now, let's move all of this off, and we'll put this on the inside. And we'll get the front built up and some gems on it, and we'll be in business, huh? Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. Just like that. Okay, now, let's see. What do we want to do? I think maybe we will pop this up on some dimensionals to give it a little bit of height. So I'll just put some dimensionals down on this. And then we can build our flower cluster to the edge. So let's get the backs off. Of the dimensionals here. One more. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to center this. Just the oval piece. I'm trying to center top to bottom and left to right. So we'll go like that, push that down. Now let's build up our little flower cluster here. So we've got a little piece for there, and another one we can put here. All right, so let's just a little bit of glue on our flower petals. Oh my goodness, I'm getting glue everywhere. Okay, so we're going to do that for that one. And this one, trying to decide which way is, I don't know that it matters too much. They look quite the same. Although I think this one actually goes. Alright, we're going to do it this way. I can't really tell which side's up. I know it has a side that's up, but we're not really going to worry about it because it looks just fine like this. Alright, so we'll get our excessive glue off there. Now, let's see what we can do here. We'll put this little prongy piece if I can get just one tiny drop of glue. Oh, I said a tiny drop, not that big. Alright, we'll put it right here. And then let's get our little flower piece because this is going to be the anchor of our little cluster here. Use that excess of glue that I got out of the last. So it happens when you get down to the end, it's hard to get it to come out in a regulated manner. There we go. Okay. Now I think we need our other little piece. Let's see. What about we can take it down this way. So again, we just need a little bit of glue. And we will put this right down there. Perfect. Okay. Looks good. Alright, so the only thing we need now is a gem. So on here, there's these 4 different colors. Golden, bronze, and copper. And there's just these white ones. And I think we'll just use one of these white ones. It's kind of a frosted white. Oops. These just really want to stick to this. They do not want to come off of the carrier sheet. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, there is our thank you so much, and the little things you do mean so much. Okay. So, let's bring back our other card that we made. I've got gems stuck to my fingers that will not come off. Okay. here's these two. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And we will be back tomorrow with another set. We're almost done with this paper pumpkin kit. Couple more sets and we'll be there before the week is over. And then we'll move on to the next one, which should be coming in the mail sometime this week. All right, that's all I have for today. You all have a crafty day. Bye.